what do you think that a coachship would look like? It would look like him explaining me financial products for 1 hour on a call when I am trying to switch the topic because I understand, but I also want to talk about romance, like romantic stuff, because we are in courtroom. I start getting afraid that, listen, I might spend it. And I don't want to spend it. So, Dynanesh, let's do gold coins. Let's put a big chunk inside and then we'll see what to do.
2021 COVID happened, and then whole my family was admitted, and then we had to pay the bills and all, and the hospital bills were huge because we didn't have sufficient health insurance cover.
And now you're what percentage in stocks and mutual funds?
Now
Hi, this is Neil Borate, and today I'm speaking to Dynanesh and Vishwa about their personal finances. They're based in Borivali, Mumbai. Dynanesh and Vishwa, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about some of your struggles with real estate and how it all started from there.
Okay. Thank you so much, first of all, for inviting us to the show. So real estate, basically my father, he was in big love in real estate like or rather most of the Indian families. And he probably understood that as well. So he did some things here, there, basically. And then after he got retired, that's when he, got to know about the financial products like mutual funds or stocks or something like that. So we started investing, and by that time I had also just started working. So my initial part of the journey was again started with a mutual fund investment only.
So what year was this? And if you could tell our viewers what you do professionally.
Okay, so this was, I officially started working in 2015, but 2016 I took a break due to some family commitments, etc., etc. So let's consider 2017 as the year where I started investing and working also full time properly. And I teach in a MBA coaching institute, which is CPLC, which is Career Planning and Learning Center.
Right.
So, but obviously the whole real estate aspect was there, and my father was always interested in that. So he did some small things here and there.
So he had bought flats or land?
Not flats, maybe some lands for small amounts, and some of them were not maybe legally right or something like that. But then he knew the risk. Because he didn't have obviously big corpus to invest, and he didn't want to take any loans to invest. So he was of the opinion that whatever happens. If it goes up, great. But if it doesn't go up, it will not affect us substantially, basically. So that was his point of view.
So he put most of his life savings into land?
Not most, but yeah, majority you can say, rather. And then, unfortunately, in 2021, he passed away. And just before passing away, he also did a deal, basically, some similar kind of a deal. And I'm still trying to recover the money from the person, because then after he passed away, we had to cancel the deal because he had some plans about, not just investing, but also developing that property and put it on a rent, basically.
So this is a little far from Mumbai or within?
No, this is in Mumbai only.
Right.
This is in Mumbai only, and not very great area also. And again, as I said, the paperwork and all, no clarity in terms of the fundamental aspect of it. So, long story short, I mean, some of the things I have started obviously liquidating at loss. Out of 3-4 places, I've received some amount, and obviously I'm then channeling that in the financial products only going forward. And that is my big lesson, because I've realized it is so vague, real estate, as everyone keeps on saying. And then it's been more than 3 years now that he's no more, but there is still no surety that whether I will even receive my principal.
Right.
Forget about having any profits.
Okay. So we'll come to your journey after that stage, after 2017. Yeah. But Vishwa, can you give us some background, your career, how you started investing?
Hi. Okay, so I used to work in an influencer marketing agency, and I was a business manager there. And my investment journey is basically Dynanesh, because literally, as every marketing professional or something like that, you can say it, I was not very keen on finances. It used to bore me to death. But a lot of things happened at home in which it was like my family went through business losses and stuff like that, in which I understood a lot of importance about financing and investments and how it is very necessary, and also how not to put everything in real estate, which was my big lesson as well, because I was trying to sell one of my big chunk of property, but it has taken me 6 years to sell that. So in 6 years, when the need was, it could not happen, and a lot of things happened, which is why I realized, okay, real estate is a big no.
Yeah. But this
And
is so counterintuitive, right? People say that flats in Mumbai are like gold.
so they are, but what happened in my case was it was a bigger flat, so bigger money, but and it was an older building, look, comparatively older building. So people were like, okay, I don't mind getting a little less square space, but I want to be in a modern building if I'm paying the same amount. That was one reason, and the second, people can be very superstitious while buying a house. So my house was a southwest facing something. So everyone's like corner and all that, which is also why they would not want to invest that kind of amount in a house which is not vastu proper. Without realizing that in Mumbai, literally buildings have been built wherever there's a place and it's not vastu and all that.
Yeah.
But okay, that happened. With all of this, I was left. I also lost my parents in 2017 and 2018, and that's when I also came across, okay, what is the money we have? What are the problems we have? What are the losses we have? To be very honest, it was more losses, and I had to figure out with what to do and how to do. And back then, Dynanesh was a good friend of mine, and I used to discuss things with him. And as soon as I started working, like after my graduation, I started working. He was like, okay, good, you're working. I'm going to invest. You're going to invest. We both will start investing together. This is our pact. And I was like, but I need to pay at home. I need to do this. I need to do that. But he was like, no, we will do something. 500 to 500. We'll start with 500. And that is how basically it started. And majorly
In 2017.
in 2017.
Yeah.
2019.
Okay.
2019. Because the whole 2016, 2017 was my mother passing away and all that was
What
happening.
year did you guys get married?
2021.
Acha. Okay.
So, actually, my major investment started before and after marriage. This was like in small chunks. But before marriage, I was of the opinion that, listen, I want to be financially extremely transparent with you. Because we're getting married, socially, everything, okay. But financially, it's very important to be transparent.
That's not easy, like to disclose your salary, even to your partner. It's just
But it was as simple for us because if we're sharing the whole life,
Yeah.
if we're sharing goals, if you're sharing your soul, your everything, like if you're sharing your soul, how can you not share your
Of
salary?
course.
That's just, I don't get it.
Yeah.
So, and apart from that, as I said, there were business losses and stuff. I wanted him to be clear that what you're marrying into, so that later on he's not like, okay, what happened? But as soon as I opened up, he did his opening up, and then we both realized that a lot of our goals are aligned. You know, a lot of like we want very similar things. Of course, we want similar things. That's why we got married. But we want a lot of similar things, and that's when we
Can you
both
give me
started
some
invest-
examples?
Like, for example, there is the obvious, you want to invest for your bacha, for a shadi, for a home, for retirement, all that. We both did not want to work till we are 60. We both wanted to retire around 40, 45.
Right.
We are not extremely big spenders, which is a little counterintuitive because the family I come from are big spenders. But because I saw the whole downfall, I've become a little
Conservative.
conscious with money. And I was never a big fan of, let's say, brands or cars or this or that. I'm never a big, and in Mumbai, owning a car for me is, I would rather sit
Yeah.
and Uber and just relax or
Correct.
watch Friends or something like
Correct.
that. So such things were very aligned. There were obviously differences. For example, he doesn't like to travel outside his house. I want to do a world tour. So those kind of differences also arises. But when we realize this is happening, and then we realize, okay, we're going to get married. These are going to be not your goals, my goals, but our goals. Let's start investing together. And then because he was I'm not saying this in an understatement way. He was a maniac when it comes to reading about finances.
Oh wow.
And what do you think that a courtship would look like? It would look like him explaining me financial products for 1 hour on a call when I am trying to switch the topic because I understand, but I also want to talk about romance, like romantic stuff, because we are in courtship. But no, actually that was the thing, and that's when I realized that okay, he is extremely passionate about this. He understands this a lot. Every now and then he's, listen, I came across this kind of product, this theme-based thing, or this thing, and this, that. This happens this way. You know, this, the momentum rises, and this. So it's like he's done my finance.
And now has it changed
PhD.
after marriage?
No. But the change is I have started liking it because I have started getting used to it, and I found that if this is his passion, I should also be a part of it, right?
That's really cool.
And some things are so easy but so difficult like that. Like, for example, economics of scale. It's a very easy concept, but when you actually see it happening, it's very hard to recognize it happening many times. Or the whole basic thing that when there's a panic, you should buy more, which is very counterintuitive thing. But
Did you guys buy more in COVID, in the panic?
we did not have the funds, but we bought. So okay, the buy more thing is kind of a funny thing between us. It's for me, it's like when you play a game and you have a lot of gold coins and you give those gold coins to get your powers or armors or something and something so that you can play better. So for me, investing is like gold coins. I want to use my gold coins. So every now and then I'm like, Nyanish, let's do gold coins today. Let's do gold coins today. And it's like a funny thing between us. So every now and then when I have a big chunk of money in my account, like salaries have come in or something else have come in, I start getting afraid that, listen, I might spend it. And I don't want to spend it. So, Nyanish, let's do gold coins. Let's put a big chunk inside and then we'll see what to do. So, basically, doing all these things like in a very play fun manner, and also because of his enthusiasm towards it, my financial journey started without me even realizing. And we always have this thing that every month when we get the NSDL statements, we both sit together. He closes his eyes. Ki, nahi, pehle tu dekh number. This happens every single month. Even now, it's been 3-4 years. We do this every single month. That okay, let's see the numbers. Let's see the numbers. And he maybe knew that okay, the numbers are going to increase in such a way. I was surprised. Every time when I saw the money increasing, of course, after COVID, stock market has been a boost. It's not like it's a game. It's not really stock market, which is also a little scary, but okay. But that just went on increasing and increasing and increasing. That's when I realized, oh, so this is the hack. This is what we should do.
Yeah.
And that's when I started getting more interested. And that's how our financial journey began. It's never, so between us, it's never your journey and my journey. It's always our journey and our money and our goals.
Because the goals are always going to be combined goals. I cannot retire alone. It includes her as a part of the plan. I mean, as a matter of fact, I would be very happy if she goes on to the world tour alone. But I know that these goals are combined goals. So most of the couple friends that we have and we interact with them, as you said earlier, it is very difficult to open up about financial aspects. We know some people who are married for decades and they do not know what their net worth is, and sometimes we feel it is very scary. But then when we talk to such people, our friends also, they say that you guys are different, and maybe then you are also reacting in a way that we feel that maybe it is different for us.
Yeah. So let's go back to your journey. 2017, you started investing.
Correct.
What were your first few investments?
So 2017, as I said, my father retired. So of course, one fellow came whom I am in very good relation with. He's a mutual fund distributor guy. He introduced us to the whole mutual fund products and stuff like that, the retirement planning. Very conservative guy, nothing fancy as such. So he recommended only 2-3 hybrid funds to my father for his retirement corpus, which was a very nice suggestion, I felt.
Agreed.
And to get used to the idea that how equity markets work. And we were I think that at that point, the small and mid caps were correcting also, 2017-18 phase. So I could see that his portfolio is doing decent. Not that I knew much. And because I was working, so I also started with my SIPs, mutual fund SIPs, mostly all mid-cap funds, basically, because I was young. I felt I can take 100% equity exposure and 100% risk, basically. One thing that I observed always with that I got fascinated with that. I tried to, have conversations with him most of the time, try to understand his perspective, that why he is recommending this fund, that fund. Mostly, I don't think a lot of distributors give that time to their clients also, in terms of explaining the process or the rationale behind it. But he was very gracious enough to let me know the part of the process. So then I also started researching and reading because I wanted to know how it works, what it is exactly. Funny thing I'll tell you now as an incident that when we were researching and he had given his recommendation of list of 4 5 funds for me to invest as a SIP thing, I also did kind of my own research, and I got fascinated with one aspect that there was this fund which was Parag Parek, only one fund they had at that point, and
Flexi
Flexi Cap. So now the name
was
change
long-term
happened.
equity back
It was long term equity fund, correct. So I was fascinated knowing that this funds is doing 65% India and 35% US. So fortunately, it came up in my Google search, and I was like, "This is great. I mean, I don't have to do 2 funds. I can do one fund and
Correct.
have a piece of US market also." So I kind of went back to him. I told him, "See, this is the fund." To my surprise, he had not even heard the name, and I'm assuming PPFs were also not pushing the product via distributor channel or anything as such. And I remember very clearly, he was surprised. He's like, "Which funds is this?" And then I told him they are having some around 200, 300 crores of AUM only. Imagine. So he's like, "Okay, I'll go to their office, find a form for you, then we'll start your investment." So that's how it happened. So I'm invested still with PPFs since 2017. So I know what they have done phenomenally. And during COVID also they were down. But I had a faith. The reason is when I enrolled, this one funny thing also that I remember, that they sent me a good welcome kit, which had a calendar, which had a book also, a small book of value investing, which I loved because I mean at that point no one was doing such things for investor education basically.
Right.
So that's when it started. I tried to till then learn a lot of things from that guy. I started reading on my own.
So if you could go back to what percentage of your salary were you saving back then?
Back then and now. Okay, so back then, of course, because I didn't have to pay anything, so I was saving around 80-90% of my salary. All my money was going into investments, and within 2-3 years, I had a good chunk of portfolio also for a very young guy, basically. And I was fortunate enough for my parents because they had made sure that the environment is like that, despite my father retiring in 2017. But then obviously 2021 COVID happened, and then whole my family was admitted, and then we had to pay the bills and all, and the hospital bills were huge because we didn't have sufficient health insurance cover. And that is when the whole portfolio got you can say the whole portfolio was spent on paying the bills. And that is when I realized that I need to have a bigger health insurance. I need to have term plan, which is not LIC policy. Because
How much was the health insurance back then?
back then my father had only 2 lakh cover and I had only 2 lakh cover. So immediately after we got married in 2021, now we have a 25 lakh base cover, and we both have a term plan of 1.5 CR basically, apart from traditional LIC policies, because my father didn't have any term plan cover.
And is 25 lakh base plus, is there a top up also?
No, there is no top up. It's a base policy only, but obviously it has some add-ons in terms of no claim bonus and etc. etc. So last I checked this year, the cover has already become more than 50 lakh.
Oh, nice.
Because we didn't claim for 2-3 years.
Right.
So it kept on increasing. But I feel that is okay. The base amount of 25 lakh is there.
sufficient,
Yeah. Right now, if you ask, every month we do budgeting. Every month we see where we are spending. We have made categories: food, home, travel, miscellaneous, one-time expenses, doctors, etc. etc. So that number, I think 2021, that number was close to 43%. We were saving versus spending. Last year it was again 41% or something. And this year again we are there about 40% mark, which I feel is good because...
No, it's very good.
Very good. Yeah, it is very good.
People struggle to say, I struggle to say 20%.
Oh, nee, but the good thing about us, I feel, and touch wood, it is a big fortunate part that we feel is that the parents lived their life, and when we were growing up as a kid, we always saw them struggling, and we always saw them not spending all the money. They were only investing and creating assets. Maybe they understand only real estate, maybe they understand only traditional products, but they created that money, which can act as a buffer for us and as a cushion for us, so that we can increase that wealth basically.
Now, Vishwa, you spoke about some goals, which is marriage, children's education, etc. House, I think, is ticked off because you guys have a house, right?
We are actually, so we live in a 1 BHK currently. We are in process to buy the other 1 BHK beside us and then make that a whole Jodi house. So maybe by end of this year, hopefully, fingers
nice.
crossed, we'll have the house thing sorted.
But that will take a chunk of your corpus, right?
Yes. So, as Manish said that his father had a lot of real estate things. So it's basically a transfer from one of his real estate to a real estate. We did not want to remove any money from our other existing products because they are performing very well. Why to do that? And rather just do real estate. And in a way, this now doesn't count as an investment. So it will be like a personal use thing, which we are not counting in investments. So it is a big chunk, but it is something we can be okay with because we're not touching this money at all. And to be very honest, sometimes we are also very conservative in counting our investments. Like we do not consider this as an investment at all.
Fair
We only
enough.
consider the markets or gold, like the gold bonds, not even physical gold, because you don't know the purity, you don't know what will happen, you don't know what will happen. For example, I'll be very honest, there was this golden jhumkas, okay, that I had got with me during marriage. Apparently, that was my mother's. So it is like very old. My mother was 40 when I was born, so it's like very, very old. Today, I don't know how they have turned into brass colored. This has never happened before, but they have turned into brass colored, which made me realize even if we have physical gold, who is to say that it's true or who is to say it's not true? And this took so many years to show that color of it. So it's a question. But yes, real estate, even though it's taking up a major chunk, it's not
you
changing
taking a
our
loan as well?
plans. Sorry?
Are you taking a loan as well? Or?
No, because
Probably not. We'll see. I don't think so. There is a need. Then I see. Then for me, I don't want to have any liabilities. If there is going to be a need for a loan or something, I might liquidate some part of the portfolio and then buy the house or top up that amount, whichever is the deficit amount, basically.
Fair enough.
One more thing I wanted to add, sorry, that in 2017, mutual fund journey was there with that distributor guy. I started reading, I started learning. But one big mistake that I did was investing in stocks directly without researching anything about it. Because I have no background of finance, neither accounting or anything. I was just, switching on TV or seeing कि राकेश झुनझुनवाला जी ने एनसीसी में शेयर लिया है तो हम भी बाय कर लेते हैं टाइप्स एंड आई डिड लॉट ऑफ सच स्पेक्यूलेशंस एंड आई डिडंट इवन रियलाइज and it took me, as I said, 17 18 was a bad time for mid cap and small cap. And that's when it, at the end of 2018, start of 19, I realized that what a mess this has become, and this was going nowhere. I mean, I had lost a lot of money, more than 30-40% of money I had lost. And in 2019, mid of 2019, I decided that this is how it cannot be going forward if I'm serious about the investing journey. Because the mutual fund portfolio was doing excellent, even though there were all mid-cap funds or regular plans, but the returns were phenomenal versus the direct portfolio. And that is when I started, shifting all of that money, started selling those direct equity investments at loss. And in return, in the same amount, I started buying the blue chip companies, even if it means one share at a time, one share per month. And a lot of times I felt initially also that how this is going to help. Because imagine holding 5 shares of HDFC Bank, holding 5 shares of HUL. But then I realized that over the point, because now it's been 4 years almost. In September, I remember it will be 4 years, 2020, 5 years, 2024, since 2019. And now some of the companies, the quantity also have grown because I kept buying whenever I had the money and I had the opportunity also. Sometimes I have also gone wrong there in some of the companies where I have bought at a very expensive prices and they are still in losses, and I've learned those lessons. So COVID for me was a lesson that by then I was 2-3 years into the whole scene, so I knew that what are the fundamentals and what are the do's and don'ts, basically, because I had started rectifying my mistakes also. But then 2020 when crash happened, I didn't have any money left because I was 100% invested in the market.
Right.
And I was so cursing, that maybe this is the time and I don't have any money. But then at that point, I decided that going forward, I will have some buffer as a cash component, which may not be, great otherwise, but in such opportunities, this will also help us every time to invest whenever such opportunity comes. So we are actively trying to do that, the build the cash positions.
And now you're what percentage in stocks and mutual funds?
Now, what percentage in stocks and mutual funds? I think mostly 50-50 in stocks and mutual funds. That would be the percent. Maybe higher towards stocks. I feel 60% maybe towards stocks and then 40% towards mutual fund.
Okay.
That's the percentage. Direct stocks is I feel purely for dividend investments, and we are hoping that they will recover because all the quality names have suffered in last 2-3 years,
Yeah.
and hopefully they should do well.
If you could go back to the goals, so apart from housing, which ones do you have or you guys have collectively, and do you have rough figures you can put to them?
Okay, figures will come back, but goals, apart from housing, there is a a yearly trip in India, bi-yearly internationally if
By
possible.
yourself or with him?
With him, forcefully if I have to take him, but with him. Um, um, these are your small goals. We want to maybe look into a two-wheeler, if not a four, because we both are not, we both have the license, we both don't drive. We are that kind of people. But sometimes I feel a two-wheeler is still required, like a little comfort it gives you. So maybe that. So these are our short terms. Our long terms are your traditional ones, which is your baby, shadi, bacha, your education, undergrad, postgrad, all that. And the major chunk is retirement. Apart from this, other goals are world tour, which I want to do, which I think in a way will be covered in the international, like it's a merge of those. But that's it, honestly, because house is sorted, which is one of the major chunk. Vehicles, we're not interested. Other big chunks, we are not very material people. So, which is why maybe simple things also makes us very happy. I do sometimes think that maybe when we have a kid and when the kid grows up, our aspirations would change, our things would change. But like we're keeping that a steady, like we'll review it every 2-3 years what the goals are. But for now, basis us, these are it. This is what basically I want experience from life which I'm getting from traveling, and he wants a simple life which we are doing in a simple way. That's it. And the numbers are either in total, if we do everything I want to do and I want to retire today, I need to have 17 crores?
15, I think. The figure keeps changing.
15 to 17 crores.
If you want to retire today and
Yeah,
do all
yes. So if I retire today, have one kid, do everything properly. If the kid wants to become a doctor, that's okay. Like whatever is required. And we do the world tour, we do everything. We need around 15 to 17 crores. I still remember it to be 17 crores. This made me want to check off more goals because I'm like 17 crores is a joke. Are you mad? We are right now like having a crore in your bank sometimes is also a little like if you're talking about Mumbai, so many people who don't even have lakhs, correct? But then that's when he told me that listen, 17 crores in these many years. So calm down. In today's like without counting the inflation and all that, it's around 5-6 crores. Yes.
As in, if you had to retire today, you're saying it's 5-6 crores. So 17 is a projected
value. future
Projected.
value, with inflation.
Yeah.
for age 45.
No, for age 50.
Okay.
So that is 20 years
Yeah.
down the line.
Fair enough.
So just to add to that, 17 crores is 20 years down the line. I think 8% inflation and 10% return and 1% taxes. So real return is 1% only. I feel that's the calculation. We want to be conservative, and in today's amount, I think that will be around somewhere around 5-6 crores basically. So we are looking for that and see how it goes basically. So numbers roughly, if I give you goals, because as I said, I work in MBA test prep industry. So if I know the fees now for the good B schools like IIMs and all, they are charging anywhere between 25 to 30 lakhs for a 2-year full-time program. But that amount after 21 years will be close to 2.5 crores at 10% inflation. And that is a very scary aspect. For UG education, again, if you look at a course like that, which has around 15 lakhs fees for 4-year course or a 20 lakh fee for 4-year course. But again, that requirement will be in 15-17 years. So that number is again around 1.5 CR or something like that. And then the marriage expenses. So sometimes we get actually
And then for your kids.
Sometimes we actually feel that I mean, looking at those numbers, we feel crazy that what are we doing as a young earner. We feel that should we even do it or not do it, or just focus on our life and try and enjoy it to the to the
Should you
fullest
have kids or not?
not the numbers are scary, only that's the reason. Otherwise there is no such big issue. But then I feel then there is a point also that generational wealth and all those concepts also. But I feel that's for a higher advanced level once you are settled. Right now we are only looking to have a portfolio which will give us more freedom. Though I'm very very happy with my job, but I still feel that money will always give you
Give you
options,
options,
and you can decide what you want to do with your time. For example, I love reading. I love playing badminton. Sometimes I will crib about a morning 7 a.m. class, but maybe all those things will be sorted in future.
Okay. So coming to your portfolio now, about half of it is stocks, mostly large caps, right? Blue chips.
Yeah.
The other, although you might be wondering, small caps क्यों नहीं लिया in the current rally?
No, I didn't. Frankly, the reasons is that I think I've learned my lessons. Secondly, I have been reading and following some good people who have seen the cycles and they are in the market for decades. Some Indian authors, some foreign authors also. Can I name them?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, for example, Free Fincal from Pattu. Yeah. In Indian context, PPFS is something that I admire the most because their behavior, the way that they are functioning with the integrity as a fund house, which is rare, or people like Naren or other veteran fund managers also. For abroad, if I talk about, then there are a couple of foreign authors. I think Nick Maguali, if I'm not wrong, of Dollars and Data. He's a very good person. I've read his book also, Just Keep Buying, which is a phenomenal book where he just keeps suggesting that you don't have to worry if you just keep buying some income producing assets. Then it can be either stocks or real estate or bonds. As long as you do that over the years, you are sorted. Basically, that is the gist of the book. And hence the title, Just Keep Buying Without Worrying. So after reading those, I've realized that there are two things, mental shift for me. Active funds, I'm trying to shy away from them as much as possible because I had a heavy Axis portfolio, Axis funds portfolio, and I'm happy that I wanted to get out of them because I wanted to shift from active to passive. And not because of the recent problems that they had. So I was very happy that I could exit them at a good profit, basically, just before they started crashing. But again, I feel it was just a part of luck. So now the thought process is less active and more passive. And second is for mostly I'm clear no of mid cap and small cap funds. So I'm okay missing those returns because what I'm doing helps me at peace or helps me sleep better. So there was this one line, I think it is very famous line, but I have read this in one of the Pattu article also, that you don't have to go to every party. You just enjoy your party. And I feel that FOMO is something that I'm still trying to learn how to control. A lot of times I also have this itch. This new fund is being launched, the new theme is being launched, and the back testing data always is very promising.
So how many funds do you have in your portfolio?
Right now I have close to 8 or 9 funds, including passive and debt and gold also. So I have 2 debt funds, I have 2 gold funds, I have PPFS, and I have 3 equity funds, basically. So I think 8-9 funds roughly I have, which also includes a Nifty fund for India and one for USA, which is NASDAQ and one for China, which
Right,
is
right.
China fund.
So debt would be what percentage of your overall portfolio?
Overall portfolio debt will be close to 20-30%. Debt will be close to 20-30%. The reason is uh, the physical real estate and physical gold is something again around 10-15%, which we have not included. But if you include that also as a part of debt, then it will also go till 35-40% for sure,
Right.
basically, or more than 40 rather. So we are trying to now do asset allocation very seriously, and our aim is that 40% around Indian equity, including mutual funds and stocks both, as a combined portfolio of both
Sure.
hers and mine.
Sure.
10% around international via mutual funds only, no direct stocks there. 15% in gold, so that is 65.
Correct.
10% in real estate, 10-15% in 10% in real estate. So that is I think what 75, and 20% in debt, pure debt, which is your bonds or debt mutual funds. So 95, and 5% cash calls. As I said, that I want to build those positions.
Right.
Whenever there is a crash, I can take advantage of.
And you're close to that now? How?
Very close actually. This June month only we did the half yearly audit. So equity was around 43-44%. It should be 40%. Indian equity if I talk. But then the gold and the other aspects are a little skewed, which I'm okay with, because as I said, we are trying to shift from physical estate, real estate to maybe REITs or something, which will give us the rent equivalent of physical real estate. So that is the new class that I'm exploring right now and building some stocks there. And according to asset allocation, we are actually down in international. We are there only about 5%, but we want to have it around 10%. So ideally going forward, we should not be investing in Indian stocks, but in foreign stocks and foreign mutual funds and more of REIT basically to build those positions.
Right.
And over the time, I don't know whether this will happen or not, but if possible, we want to shift out of physical gold also. Sell that and then go to digital, basically. Digital in the sense bonds or gold mutual funds as much as possible.
And you've been doing direct for a long time, right?
Direct stocks or mutual funds? Mutual funds direct, yes, because as I said, I started reading. I realized that regular and direct is of course more better.
Initial years you had.
Initial years I had
That's fair.
regular only.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, to be very frank, till COVID, I was all regular mutual funds. From there, as I said, I felt that I need to know more before I take the plunge and start shifting money. And when I started shifting money, I realized that if you're going also in direct, that problem will always be there, which fund, and hence the passive. And by that time, as I said, because I was reading sensible people, I feel, so they all had the similar opinion, and the data also showed the same thing, that passive will make sense, basically.
Okay. I have a rapid fire for you guys before we finish.
Yeah.
One guilty purchase that he doesn't know about.
I think food. If I go out,
Huh.
I will spend on food. This is one time I went on lunch with one of my friends. I spent 3,000 on a glass of wine, which I did not realize is of 3,000. I told him about a month later because I did not want to, but we do our budgets together, so it comes out anyways. But yeah, mostly it will be around food.
Okay. Half points because he knew about it.
So the monthly budget reveals everything in a way. So.
Honestly, we are that transparent that we have made a sheet, because after my father passed away, we realized that the process has to be very simple for the next person. And he had given me all his access to bank accounts, demat accounts, so I could do transactions also and take out money in the COVID era. So that is when I've also made sure that both our documentations are aligned. So all of us know, we have shared an Excel sheet with each other where we know both our passwords, the email IDs, the bank account passwords, the demat account passwords, and so basically it cannot be hidden.
And also, what we do is, I'm sorry, this is a rapid fire, but I'm just giving a long answer. What we do is, we have a Google Keep Note thing in our phones. So every day, even if we are buying a 10 rupee bhel from the station, we put it in there. It's a data thing happening, and we make sure when we are sleeping at night, it's filled. It takes us 5 minutes in the day. And then we put all of that into Excel. So June's, we are supposed to do it tonight. So there we understand. And there, see, because if I'm so transparent to him about everything, hiding that. I know it's not good, but I don't want to hide it.
Fair
It
enough.
becomes like that.
Fair enough.
So yes, but half point.
Well, more than him, he didn't answer. One financial decision where you guys had a debate and where she was proved right and or he was proved right.
Investing in many funds, investing without maybe some professional help, because I thought that I know too much, I've read too much, I've read everything. These are the people that are doing things, so this is how it should be. That one rigid mindset that comes after a point,
Right.
But then we were not actually suffered big because of that, but she put sense into me in terms of talking to a professional and then having the whole thing checked by the professional ones whether it is right or wrong, basically. So the opinion was the same, that if you can reduce, that will be great.
Fair enough.
That will be great. It is easy to manage.
Fair enough. Vishwa?
Um, very traditional mindset, but I didn't think gold funds make sense because I was like, gold, right? It's supposed to be physical. And then eventually I was like, why do you want so much gold? Of course, it balances out, but then I was like, we are young, we can do equity more right now and then figure out gold later. But yeah, recently the blue chips not doing that great made us realize. So that was one. Second, I got to learn more about gold funds because my traditional mindset, if dikta nahi hai haath mein, you cannot touch and feel, so it's not correct. But then the more I read about it, the more he made me aware. I actually am in love with the product. You don't have the locker jhanjat and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Secret dream if you had unlimited money.
Secret dream, if you have unlimited money, just read whole day and play a lot of badminton if the body permits.
Okay, mine is extravagant. Yeah, his is very simple. Experience all cultures the world has to offer by traveling. Forget luxury, but just stay with locals, experience things. If I could spend 1 month in a country or like that, roam around, and that kind of thing, I would love to do.
Yeah. No, I would love to do half year his and half year yours.
Thank you.
One thing you would request the FM in this budget.
FM in this budget, please no more taxes. Or please, I think STT and LTCG both are there now. So if they can do something about it, and they took away debt funds taxation last year. So again, they can reinstate back, because last night only I saw some calculation that because of this taxation taken away from debt funds, and they are now at par with FDs now, I think. So if the inflation rises more and the funds are doing still the same range only, returns point of view, so your real returns are going to be negative now if a person is in a 30% tax bracket. So I feel that is a big injustice. Or maybe whenever you rebalance from one asset to other asset, if possible, there should not be any tax. I know hybrid funds are there for that, but still, if people want to do manually, because they are buying only from one asset to other asset, they are not spending that money. If they are taking out, you definitely tax them. But if they are, putting it in the other asset class, it should be, considered, I feel.
Fair enough. Vishwa?
Mine is not a very technical answer, but more about, I feel, because also with the company I was working and the people I was working with, there's a big lack of investor education in the country, especially in the Gen Z and that whole generation as well. I'm not sure if, I think it should be the financial ministers, like that cabinet's whole thing, that to increase this, to make people more aware, make people more understanding, especially in the world of EMIs and everything. Because I literally know a friend who has, let's say, a 20K salary, has 15K EMIs and 5K for the month, which does not make sense in the long term. Number one. Number two, I believe in the whole government and everything, that taxes and everything, if they are leaving so much, because if you want to make the country great, you will need money. I get that. But somewhere, if they could explain in a more transparent way what, why, how.
What they do with the money.
Yes. And also, why, well, what are the plans for the money as well? And also, currently, there's a lot of infotainment happening with influencers in which everyone is criticizing that, oh, this particular note of money has been taxed twice, thrice, blah, 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 to come up with a statement of understanding why is that happening. Because or else the people will simply keep on hating the government without realizing their point of view at all. I want them to at least speak up, to at least say what are they doing, why are they doing, because I'm very sure they are hearing all of this, but they are not commenting on it, which is just making things more difficult for middle class people or people to understand or even have faith.
All right. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.